Well, good morning, church. It's so good to be with you. Pastor Lisby and I are currently in South Africa on long service leave. Very grateful to our board who gives us the permission every 5 years to take some extended leave to keep ourselves fresh, keep ourselves sharp so we can be the best leaders for you that we can be. But what a delight to come into all our services this morning during this series called Citizen. And we're talking about what it means to be a citizen of the earth. And one of the things that a citizen has that shows that they're a citizen of a particular nation is a passport. And so I've called this message Passport Home. It's a message I've preached before, but I just wanted to bring it at this time. It just feels so right as we're building up in the next few weeks toward Christmas. Opportunities to bring friends to church, opportunities to witness to people. It just feels like this is for us right now and in this season. I want you to know, even though we've been away for a few weeks on holiday, in fact, we're going to be back with you very, very soon. We're praying for you. We miss you. You are like family to us, and I really, really mean that. When we talked about being a citizen of church, for Lisby and I, having lived so many years, quite some distance from our natural family, church has been that family for us. It is our home, and I trust, regardless of whether your family is near or far, that church is also a family for you. So let's dive into this. Matthew chapter 5 and verse 14 says this: "You are the light of the world. A town built on a hill cannot be hidden. Neither do people light a lamp and put it under a bowl. Instead, they put it on a stand, and it gives light to everyone in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, that they may see your good deeds and glorify your Father in heaven." Oh my gosh. The punchline here is let your light shine. Now, a few years ago, I was traveling with one of our pastors in the Netherlands, Anna Borkent, pastor of C3 Rivers, and we were on a trip to London. And we arrive at the airport, and he had forgotten his passport. And too late to return home, too late to ask someone to bring it up. We would have missed the plane. We get to check in, tell them our dilemma, and they tell us about a system we had not been aware of. You can turn up, may be useful if you're ever in this situation, you can turn up to the police office at the airport, and they will issue you a temporary passport just for that trip. If you can show them some digital documents to prove who you are, then they can give you that passport. So Anna and I, we went to the police office, we went through the process, and yes, within 15 or 20 minutes, we walk out of that place and Anna has a temporary passport. If you didn't have that, there would be no way to get on the trip. What I'm saying to you is this today: is you are the passport home for someone in your world. Now, we know that Christ is the access point to heaven, which is ultimately the home that we're destined for. We know that church is an expression of our eternal home here on earth. And there are people all around us all of the time who need you and I to point them in that direction. They need you and I to be that passport for them that says you can find home, but there is a ticket to this home. There is a way to this home. There is a Christ who is your passport. And without him, you're never going to experience this wonderful place we call home. You are that passport home. We have the answer to people's dilemma. We have the answer to people's need. We have the answer to people's question of eternity in our hands. Many years ago, we were at Universal Studios at the theme park in Los Angeles. And we got there early because we'd heard about the incredible queues. We wanted to avoid those queues. So we had managed to get on all the rides before the queues had formed. And then later in the day, we were talking to a stunt actor. We tend to get into conversation with people. We love doing that, just sparking conversation. And at the end of our conversation, he goes, look, I'm going to give you a code. And if you use this code to a security officer, they'll let you straight on to a ride. You can skip the queues. So we tried it out. We went back to our favorite ride. The queue by this time, it got really long. We passed all these, it could have been 100 people or something. It was a really long queue. Get to the front and we say this word, this code word to the security officer. He lets us straight through. What an incredible feeling. That moment you get saved, where things come together, where you go, oh my Lord, I've been struggling my life with feelings of guilt, shame, or just seeming not like I can get on top of life, trying to find meaning, trying to find hope, direction, and purpose. And suddenly, by receiving Christ, the joy of the light that fills your life is unexplainable. And I don't know about you, I've had many moments since that moment of coming to Christ that have been like that too. The relief, like a cool drink on a hot summer's day. So many comparisons that don't even really compare and do it justice, but that moment where you have confessed the sin and felt the relief of heaven fill your soul. And it's like that code that escapes the worst nightmare. And I don't know about you, for me, the worst nightmare is standing in a queue for a couple of hours. I don't even like a 3-minute queue on the phone, let alone a 2-hour queue at an amusement park. But the relief it gives you when you've found Christ, when you've found the light of the world. And so my encouragement to us today is let's take responsibility of being citizens of the earth. Christ has called us into the world to bring hope, to bring good news, and it's a responsibility we have on behalf of God's creation, on behalf of the people of the earth. He says, go into all the world and make disciples of all nations. It is a responsibility believers have to be responsible citizens of our city, to bring life, to bring hope. There's many ways we can express that responsibility in serving our city, but the first and most important way we can express our responsibility as citizens of earth is to respond to that call that says we're to go into all the world and preach the gospel. You are the light. Let your light shine, my friends. Let us be a beacon of hope as a church. Let's be a passport home to someone in your world who needs to hear the message. So how do we do that? Very simply this morning, I'm going to give you 3 ways that you can access this truth of being a passport home for someone. The first is this: we need to live it. We need to let our light shine. We've got to live the gospel before we can preach the gospel. We need to be the gospel before we can say the gospel. We need to be hope before we can talk about hope. We need to be the light. You are the light of the world. Let me encourage you right now. Your identity has changed. It has shifted. You are light. Once you were darkness, but now you are light. Once you were in the kingdom of darkness, but now you're in the kingdom of light. The first way we can live it is by serving it. That is to say, if you see a need, let's meet a need. If you see a hurt, let's heal a hurt. When was the last time you had your neighbors around for a barbecue, for a meal? When was the last time you saw a need that your neighbor had and you met that need? Just recently, actually, I have helped my neighbor just cut his hedges. His health means that he's unable to climb ladders and things. And so I offered to come, and over a period of a few different days, we were able to renovate the huge fir hedge he has all the way around his garden. And it's an utter joy. I love doing it. He's become a good friend. And it's also a way of me just showing that I'm not just one who wants to share and speak about Christ to him. And we've often talked about Jesus. And it's a way of me just showing this is how we live it out. You can serve the gospel to people. You can serve Christ to people by loving on them. When was the last time you served someone by bringing them to a service or bringing them to a group or bringing them to a party? Lisby and I love mixing up our friends at parties. We threw a birthday party recently, and we had a few close church friends there. We had our neighbors there. We had some of my boot camp friends there, and it just mixed up our sort of Christian world and our unsaved Christian world of friends. And it's a great opportunity because you never know when one of your Christian friends may end up talking to one of your unsaved friends and doing a job for you and with you, because we're meant to be a net thrown out into the world. That is, our interlocking of our relationships is so important. We're not just one isolated rod out there fishing for a fish. We are a net cast out there, a group of individuals together, reaching people together. We live it by serving it. We also live it by wearing it. We put on a new set of clothes. Now, here is the challenge. What are you like when you are stuck in a queue? Let's go back to queues. I've obviously got a thing about queues. What are you like? Does your mood suddenly shift? What are you like when you're stuck in traffic, complaining about this traffic, forgetting the fact that you are the traffic, you are part of that problem, but yet we complain about everybody else. We start to wear a different type of clothing. It just comes on us. I have a particular thing about tripping over stuff. I hate untidiness, so if the shoes are left hanging around it, it's like something else comes on me when I see it or I trip over it. What is that for you? We need to learn to shed those clothes and put on brand new clothes. So first of all, with our own family, we're wearing the clothes of grace. We're wearing the clothes of kindness. We're putting on the clothes of Christ. We're putting on the clothes of humility because we're living the gospel. When you go to work and you put on patience, when you go to work and you put on kindness, when you show that extraordinary grace in a meeting that definitely doesn't deserve grace because it's going south, not where it's meant to go. People are being unreasonable, but your light is shining because you've chosen to wear a different set of clothing. That's when the gospel begins to preach. That's when you can say, I've let my light shine. I am being a passport home to someone. I am being a responsible citizen of earth, taking hold of the call of Christ to go into the world and preach the gospel. So the first thing we can do is we can live it. The second thing that we need to do to be a passport home, we live it and we say it. We preach it. This is what Romans 10:14 says. How then can they call on the one they have not believed in? And how can they believe in the one of whom they have not heard? And how can they hear without someone preaching to them? There simply comes a point where we need to say something to someone, not just be a good example to them. There comes a point where it's great to be able to share our story. Do you know, I've been through that. And do you know what I've found? Well, I have often done in that situation, I've prayed. And my relationship with Jesus has made all the difference. When I've got anxious, I've been able to give him my cares and my burdens. You have a chance to share a story that is going to change someone's life. To be able to share your salvation story. Never underestimate your salvation story. I, for so many years, thought, I wish my salvation story was so much more sexy. It had more to it, you know. A mentor of mine who was an evangelist when in the early days of coming to Christ for me, he got saved in prison. I thought his story was amazing. You know, he was an orphan. He got into all sorts of trouble. Was breaking into homes, and he got caught, went to prison. There was a Bible, and he gets saved in prison. and now becomes an evangelist preaching in prisons and all sorts of other settings. Oh, that's amazing. I want a story like that. So I'm thinking about the day when I stole a Mars bar from a corner store, thinking that was just, the worst thing that I'd ever done, and trying to turn that into a story. But that wasn't me. My story wasn't God made a bad person good. My story was God made a good person saved. And then I realized one day, my gosh, that's probably most people. Most people we meet aren't bad people. They are good people. And yet goodness is never going to get us to heaven. So I realized my story of actually being a good person, I was never really a bad person. And yet I still lacked meaning. I still had no sense of connection to why I was here on planet Earth. I had to discover my identity in Christ. I realized my story connected with more people than his story. And so I want to encourage you today. Your story will speak to someone. Whatever your story is, whether it's bad become good, get saved, good get saved, or whatever it is, your story matters. I want to encourage you today, why don't you go home and write out your story? What if you had an elevator pitch, you had 3 minutes in an elevator with someone and it was an opportunity to share Christ with them, what would you say? What were the key elements? What was life like before you came to Christ? And the emotions of it too. A great story is packed full of emotion. How did it feel? I felt lost, really. Not lost as in where I was going. I had some ambition, but lost as in who I was. And I just felt lost in a sense of personal confidence internally. And it caused me to shut down when I was with others who were confident. It didn't feel great. But when I came to Christ, that sense of, well, I am someone in Christ. He loves me. I matter. I am loved, cared for, and I have a direction in life. Confidence filled my soul. What is your story? Put down the emotions of it too, not just, it was like this, then I came to Christ, and now it's like this. Not just the facts, and be able to share it in just 3 minutes. Your story matters. What are you going to say when someone asks you about the hope that you have? What is the gospel that you're sharing? For God so loved the world that he gave his son that we would have eternal life. There is life after death. Where are you heading? And how are you going to get there? Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. The only way is through Christ, not through good works. We need to know what our gospel is so that we can say it. And I'm believing today that courage is going to fill your heart. The great sense of boldness is going to fill your heart, that you would seize those opportunities. We don't have to force it on people. We build relationships with people. We live the gospel in front of people. And then the opportunities will naturally come. And it will make a lot of sense. It's been a great joy for Lisby and I as we have, over the years, keep developing just our loyalty to a friendship circle of people who don't yet know Christ, and watching them gradually open up as we share things, as they ask questions, as we pastor them. That's the attitude we take. We have taken the attitude that we're the pastors of our street. Now, in many cases, that goes beyond our street to boot camp friends and other people. And we've taken that attitude that we're there as like their pastors. We want to help bring wisdom to them when they got questions. And when they got questions, we're not shy to step in and bring a Bible answer, a Jesus answer, bring it in. It's been wonderful to watch them open up to a world of spirituality. And as a result of that, we've actually seen a neighbor saved. We've actually seen people get to the point where they go, who have been anti-God, getting to the point where they're going, do you know what? I believe I'm on a search for God now. That can be you. When you have an opportunity, say it. And finally, we don't just live it. We don't just say it. We need to pray it. Now, there is power in the prayer from your tongue. Don't believe that your prayers are just bouncing off a ceiling. There is power in your prayer life. Listen to this. James 5:16 says, the prayer of a righteous person is powerful and effective. Are you a righteous person if you know Christ? Yes, you are. There is power in your yes and amen in prayer. When you go to God and you call on His name on behalf of people you want to see saved, nearly every day I'm praying for unsaved people. It might be a family member. It might be a friend. I'm praying for people that you know. I'm interceding for them too. I'm praying for people who are going to be brought to a service on any given Sunday. I'm regularly praying, come on, let's join together. I mean, calling you to join with me, and let's unite our hearts, let's unite our prayers, and let's be the righteous that call on God with powerful and effective prayers, that when we call it into being, those things that are not, that we will believe that they will come to pass, that we intercede and stand in the gap of those who are lost, those who are going to hell, and those who need to have a destiny toward heaven. Every person around us needs the hope that you and I have, and we can call on a God who also is desperately seeking and saving the lost, who doesn't want anyone to perish. You know, when you're praying for someone to get saved, you are immediately right at the heartbeat of our Father, who his heart bleeds for lost people more deeply than we could ever imagine, more deeply than we could ever feel it. And I feel like there are times we need to get on our knees and feel the heart of our Father for the people who are lost. We need to feel their pain and feel the great intent, the great purpose of our God to seek them out and show them another way, show them the truth. And we can do that in prayer. Let's never underestimate the power of our prayers. Well, church, this has been a great joy bringing this message to you. Remember, you and I were called to go into the world as citizens responsible to be a passport home to someone. We can turn on our light by living it. We can say it and explain what that light is, and we can pray it and bring light into dark places through our prayers. God bless you.